The majority of Wichita citizens were tired and disgusted by the hostage of their city. Judge Kelly appeared to be the only official who would uphold the law and put an end to the illegal actions of Operation Rescue. On August 23rd, the 10th U.S. Court of Appeals upheld the injunction to prevent the blocking of the clinics. The steam was out of the protest, and after nearly 6 weeks instead of 6 days, the nightmare for Wichita was finally over. In 1986, the Women's Health Care Service Clinic suffered a powerful bomb blast. The facility was rebuilt and remodeled as a fortress to reflect the lawless climate of danger to patients and staff. The use of thick cinder block walls and the absence of windows provides a safe haven for patients who make it through the picket line. Inside, the walls are lined with poignant letters from former patients. The letters are heartfelt expressions of appreciation for the courage and compassion Dr. Tiller and his staff continue to provide women. A wood fence surrounds the rear of the clinic and parking lot to keep protesters from harassing patients further. Even so, protesters managed to stand on a hill adjacent to the property and scream at women entering the clinic.
Así que estás en los cielos, dile que se van de aquí, por favor. Dios, Señor, manda para atrás porque me guiaron, porque no están aquí.
As cars speed by on busy Kellogg Avenue and Wichitans go about their daily lives, the Women's Health Care Services Clinic appears eerily the same as it did in 1991. Clinic defense workers, a group of citizen volunteers, begin their daily routine at 6 a.m., reassuring and safely guiding patients into the clinics.
Clinic defense, we're just all volunteers. I'm happy to be doing the clinic defense, but I resent that it has to be done. That people can't just go get medical treatment that they need and not be harassed. And the protesters love to stand out there and, well, why are you out here? Well, because you are.
I first got involved in 1991 when Operation Rescue came to Wichita for their Summer of Mercy. I went to work for La Quinta Inns in 2001, and they sent me to Wichita. I got to Wichita about the middle of May. They were having their 10-year anniversary Summer of Renewal, only it was now Operation Save America, and Randall Terry was in prison someplace back east, and it was now headed by Flip Benham.
The scene outside the clinic is familiar. Protesters arrive just as early carrying their signs, quoting the Bible and issuing dire warnings to anyone attempting to enter the clinic.
Light and darkness, bless the Lord. Lightnings and clouds, bless the Lord.
Let the earth bless the Lord. Praise and exalt him.
So what they're doing is they're taking the babies and they're murdering the babies, violating the 6th commandment. So I'll be out here and asking people to stop. Normally when the ladies come up, I let them know what the 6th commandment is, that God doesn't like it, they've got to give an account. I believe witchcraft plays a part in it, or the demonic. It's called the demonic. People can understand witchcraft better than the demonic because some people don't believe in demons. Some people just believe that there are mean people, there are bad people, that they're not influenced. If I say there's a witch, people believe in witches.
Protesters often bring their own children. On July 10th of 2002, a picnic was organized in the searing 100-degree weather. The crying children and their suffering seemed a cruel paradox to the love protesters claim to have for the unborn. The children retreated to balloons, and music followed by ice cream as if it were a party. There was an absence of the graphic fetus signs usually present during such rallies.
These people with all their little children, and I think they called it Children's Day for those children, but not my 6 daycare kids. Nobody has anything out here except happy, smiling little children having a barbecue in front of an abortion clinic, you know. But where's all of the chopped up fetus pictures that they subject my grandson and my daycare kids to? But they will not subject their own children to.
Anti-abortion protesters never left the city after 1991. The tactics of harassment and intimidation continue today and has become more covert, dangerous, and personal as protesters specifically target pro-choice members of the Wichita community. Pro-choice citizens have seen their own freedoms and rights ignored. Alice Grimm's is a prime example of what happens when you live in the same neighborhood as the clinic.
The protest came to my front door, in my front yard, across the street, in the street, constantly. But in 1995, I started to do daycare. And that's when things became really, really bad. They pick a Friday night, maybe hundreds of them out there. They park anywhere they want, and you got some idiot on one of these. Actually, he's only across the street. He's from where you and I are almost from. And he has to get these big speakers going, you know, where you can hear them all over the neighborhood. I called the police. They wrote up more or less a disturbance deal, and they asked, you know, would I sign it? If you're going to make a complaint, you're going to sign it? I said, sure. Well, you know, you might have to go to court. No problem. I went to court on the appointed date. When I got up there, somebody came and asked me, was I Alice Grimm? And I said, yeah. And he says, well, this is not going to be heard today. I said, when is it going to be heard? Well, it's never going to be heard. They told me that the police department put a wrong number down on the case, worded it incorrectly. However they did it, I wasted a whole day, took off the whole day. 6 kids had to go 6 places to go to court for nothing. Nobody cares. The police department and the city of Wichita and actually the state of Kansas, they kind of believe, well, you know, if you can't take it, sell and get out. But I don't think that's right.
While it seems astonishing that so many abuses could have occurred against one citizen for so long without recourse from the city, it is evident to the charge made by other sources that city officials instruct the police department to give wide latitude to anti-abortion protesters. Protesters are confident that their rights to protest take precedence over the disruption, harassment, and constant violations they inflict upon citizens of Wichita. Dr. Tiller, his staff, and clinic defense workers continue to be high on the list for harassment.
I felt threatened constantly. They would try and follow me home, try and find out where I lived. La Quinta made me get a cell phone. They were so afraid that they would catch me by myself going to the bank or running some other kind of errands. One day I had gone to pick up my daughter and her friend. My daughter, they were 10 years old, and they were going to come and swim at the hotel because I was going to be there kind of late. It was on a Friday. I pulled into the hotel parking lot and got out of the car and heard somebody yell my name, and I looked up and we're surrounded by protesters, and they're yelling at my daughter, do you know your mother makes her money off the blood of babies, and taking her picture? And I said, you know, just run for the hotel. I went ballistic on them. During the summer of renewal, when my name started popping up on websites, the federal marshals did bring me a wanted poster, a man, Clayton Lee Wagner, who had escaped from federal prison in May. He had put on one of the internet websites that he was going to come to Wichita and he would close down the clinic here. He supposedly went to Neil Horsley, who has Christian Gallery and abortion camps. He told Neil Horsley that he had a list of 42 people that were not doctors, because doctors have bulletproof vests, but it would be people close to the abortion industry. Once he said he would start picking these 42 people off, it was a concern. I didn't let my child go any place with me, wouldn't let my staff go any place with me, and just hope, you know, if I was one of the 42 that it would just be me and not somebody else.